Hi everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hope you're doing great. We have 33 people watching right now. I hope there's some people from the public. Yes, we have some members of the public watching. So, welcome to all of you. I hope a lot more people will join us. A very important topic. Lauren specifically asked that we do this one, and I totally agree with her, especially with a lot of the news coming out lately. We want to talk about the push towards a cashless society, but that's not really the problem, is it?
Well, as part of it, um, I think the theme in my head for this whole discussion is a quote from 21 Lessons for the 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari. I quote him a lot because he is an advisor of the founder of the Fourth Industrial Revolution and dictates much of where we're headed. And he
Klaus Schwab,
says,
yeah,
yeah,
just to make it clear for
he
those
says
that
in the
don't know.
book, and I wasn't quite sure if he meant metaphorically or literally, but he said in the book that data is the new currency. Our personal information is the new currency. And when we discuss the specific ways in which that is happening, especially in a cashless society, hopefully you'll get to see how that is true. So everything will be geared towards getting us to spend money. And it's just like the social media platforms that we use, nothing is free. And if you're using it for free, you can be rest assured your data is being used against you. And when I say against you, to get you to do things you wouldn't normally do or think things you wouldn't normally think and especially buy things you wouldn't usually buy.
And at some stage, what you buy will be controlled. So only certain things will be available. And there will be a few elites deciding what that is.
Well, considering that all the global organizations like the Trilateral Commission and United Nations and very similar organizations are all striving towards a carbon net zero, that is a very scary and bleak future for us. So right now, I mean, what we're experiencing is, I suppose, psychological manipulation, aka advertising, to get us to spend as much money as possible and to use cash as means to do so, which builds a profile for each user, and that is with powered with algorithms, is a very scary weapon that can be used against us.
I watched someone do a video, I think it was late last night or early this morning, that said that these climate scientists have told him that he must go and study the science. So he said he decided to do that. And with his carbon zero emissions and zero carbon policies and goals for 2025, 2030, 2040, 2050, there's many of these years that they just pump out there and run campaigns. He said, well, I went and did the research. And he said, for the land that is cleared to put up one wind turbine, he looked at the amount of forest cut down in certain areas and how much CO2 that would take out of the atmosphere. And he says building every one of those wind turbines added so much carbon to the environment, whether good or bad. And so he says, yes, he went and studied the science. Now, I've spoken about this for a very long time, but I thought it was a beautiful angle that he had used. I made this one video on green, clean, and renewable, and now those are just swear words. If you actually look at the processes, so we are being sold something, and if you look at basic science, because I do believe in science and the scientific method, I do not believe in scientists because many of them are absolutely driven by outcomes that's been given to them beforehand. They are given a budget to say, go and find this resolve. And that's what they look for. They don't actually apply science or the scientific method. And when it comes to a cashless society, it's based on nothing except someone's ideal, wants and whims.
Yeah, it's a strange world.
Well, you create a pandemic and then money is dirty, no?
Well, let's go through some headlines based on cashless society, just to give you a picture of where the world is going, what the world is thinking, and also in South Africa specifically.
Welcome
So,
to the 134 people that have joined us so far. Hopefully, we can get to over 200 people. So please share this link. If you like this video, it'll help more people to see it. YouTube's algorithm will show it to more people. And we have to use this platform. We're reaching many people this way, so we need your help in doing that. Thanks. Over to you.
Cool. So here are some articles that are trending in the world and in South Africa. A South African article: the move to a cashless society isn't just a possibility, it is well underway. And we'll cover some of these articles in this live stream just briefly. Next is international: going cashless is a bad idea, but it's not a conspiracy. Back to a South African article: cash in transit heists. Lesotho calls for a cashless economy.
That's closer to home.
Love how whenever there's news reports on high crime, next to follow up is some kind of surveillance solution.
Absolutely.
So we here in Cape Town are seeing lots of reports on muggings in Table Mountain. I'm sure it's made national news. So pretty soon,
International news, in fact.
I'm pretty sure Cape Town's going to be like, oh, we're going to have drone security for Table Mountain to keep hikers safe.
I believe we already have that, but cameras
everywhere. And probably more stringent rules to actually get into nature conservation sites.
Well, Panyaza Lesotho has a massive following supporting him in this transition to this new world order being created. Everything he touches is new world order related. And now we'll have a heading underneath our video saying conspiracy.
We can never avoid that. I know, it's so frustrating.
When Obama says it and Cyril says it and everyone else.
World leaders can say it, but not us peasants. How dare we?
Mere mortals, mere struggling mortals.
Will physical money disappear? Now in the UK, fears UK's cashless society will leave more than just the vulnerable behind. Then also international: contactless payments. South African, sorry. Contactless payments to drive SA into a cashless society. Now, just to read the room, let us know in the comments, do you make the majority of your payments using your card? I know I certainly do.
Yeah, we do.
I don't use cash. It's just too inconvenient. Although I remember growing up, my mom always drew cash from the ATM and used money to pay for things physically. Like we would take money to Spar to buy all our groceries. So weird.
So most of us are in the system and having cash. I've told people, keep cash on hand. You need to have cash available. It's super important. Bank accounts in future will not be a safe place to store value. And this is a real conundrum of how we deal with this, especially when do you deal with it? And I think that's where a lot of people are in two minds, because here you see contactless payments to drive South Africa into cashless society. A lot of people have said it'll never happen in Africa. It'll never happen in South Africa.
I think in South Africa, what you then see is a divergence between two worlds, the clash of the classes. On one hand, you'll have the cashless society, on the other, you'll have like this underground informal trading bordering on black market system.
Yeah, this will also break down the central bank system. That is why they need CBDCs to exist in the system, because the Central Bank Act says that you cannot refuse cash as legal tender.
Indeed.
So by law, you are supposed to take South African rands in South Africa as legal tender. No shop can refuse it by law. And yet there are places doing it now. Cashless shops,
Indeed.
For instance.
Here we go.
Where they don't even have the facilities to accept cash.
No, some retail stores in South Africa are going cashless. The Shoprite Group launched its first cashless store. And we covered this at the time.
In our town.
In what might be a start of a trend. So Shoprite Group launched its first cashless store in Durbanville late last month. The move followed its launch of another technologically advanced clothing store in Canal Walk. The move by Shoprite follows worldwide trends that seek to improve customer experience through digitization, with the removal of cash from the ecosystem being a key principle. So the beauty
principle.
The beauty here, or the beauty for not us, for them, is that with cash, you can fly under the radar a bit. Now government will know every single transaction. Next minute, they're going to be deducting the tax straight off your account. It's an absolute disaster. So when we go through the technology, and I'll be focusing on one specific article that highlights how they work and how they see data. All that's missing is for government to have access to that real-time data from various payment solution companies. And then what you have is an absolute dictatorship, digital dictatorship, the thing that Yuval Noah Harari has been warning about the most. So they create the monster and then they warn you about the monster. It's very interesting.
Yeah, Phil says here the informal market will quickly find an alternative form of cash. After all, the market invented cash, not governments, except if it's made illegal to then use cash.
Yeah,
And
criminal.
make no mistake, under those circumstances, it will be almost impossible, except for one thing, bartering. And that doesn't use any currency. So a government cannot control bartering. It's one of their worst enemies, the most difficult things for any government to control. How do you legislate bartering? You cannot.
Oh, well, that's interesting because with my experience in running OHM, a political party, I'm the leader of the political party, for those that don't know. There is a political party funding act, and we have to declare all income, all donations, everything. But even if someone offers us their restaurant as a venue for an hour, we have to
They want
declare
to
that.
know.
If I, as a party leader, use my personal money to drive to a meeting, I need to declare that as a donation. If someone decides to quickly design us a little flyer, we have to declare that as a donation. So that is very similar. I see that in the same light, that they will definitely try to legislate bartering to some degree or the other.
There's a lot of resistance to the World Economic Forum plans, to Klaus Schwab's plans. There's massive attacks on it worldwide. Here's the trick. It can still be full-on subversion. This is what people don't understand. And in the end, when the blockchain is brought in as a savior, the blockchain, not cashless, in other words, cards, etc., the blockchain will be fully trapped. And a lot of people will fall for that. I've seen many channels that speak out against the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, that promote the blockchain.
100%, yes.
So they don't understand. And I've been trying to say this for a very long time. Most of these things will work within the blockchain. The blockchain was created for that purpose, not by Satoshi Nakamoto, who is just a fake figment of people's imagination. It was created by tech giants that perfectly understood what it meant, how it needed to be promoted so that there's mass buy-in. And Yuval Noah Harari actually spoke about that in quite a lot of detail, how people need to be forced to adopt this. And I think should be done to them.
Because we can't think for ourselves, right?
Exactly. So even Anthony Fauci openly said that people need to be forced to take the vaccine. And how do you do that? You take their jobs away. You threaten them with not being able to move around. He said those words. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It is practical to these people that this is what you need to do, that you create a situation where freedom is no longer an option. And then you can throw freedom away.
So we spoke a while back. I can't even remember if it was Thursday or Tuesday. It was Thursday night, sorry. But we spoke about the Industrial Revolution leading up to the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So there's the First Industrial, Second, Third, and then finally Fourth Industrial Revolution. And before the Industrial Revolutions was the Agricultural Revolution. The Industrial Revolution coincided with what's his name? Adam Weishaupt, and the influence of Amschel Rothschild on Adam Weishaupt in starting the Bavarian Illuminati and infiltrating governments worldwide, theoretically. And in a sense, I feel like we almost need to go back to the agricultural revolution way of living in order to create something completely different.
Reset.
Because one thing I noticed is that, and even if I analyze my own self here, most people, including myself, still want aspects of the system we're currently in, the system that's broken, like being able to spend money. It's convenient. Bartering is a lot more intangible, it's a little bit more difficult.
It is complicated.
Being able to spend money that actually has value sitting in a vault somewhere is a very convenient way.
That represents your labor.
It's a very convenient way of trading and obtaining and getting things that you require to function. And moving into the system we're headed towards, is not going to work, because it's just going to put us into more subjection to authority. So we need to move away from the current system and create something brand new. But I'm afraid most people are terrified of that thought.
Money as a concept is not bad or evil or anything like that. Money has existed way before any of these idiots came up with ways of manipulating it. Especially Amschel Rothschild was brilliant at figuring out ways to manipulate money, make money off money, etc. He was brilliant at creating that environment, creating that financial system. Before, money was a token of your labor and it could be used as a form of exchange. It's just a very practical thing. So, don't you think many people have been taught that money is dirty,
It has. I think a lot of people have psychological issues around creating wealth for themselves. We've covered this in a couple of our workshops. Actually, the Financial Freedom Workshop.
Yeah.
Our psychological setbacks with regards to our relationship with money. And I think it's been drummed into us by our parents, by teachers, by religious leaders especially. And it's just the oil that makes the world go round. As you shouldn't see it as good or bad. It's what we do with it. You can do a lot of good with your wealth, and you can exert a lot of evil upon nations, like some people do.
Andre sounds like he's running the Intel services.
Noted.
We'll take note of that, Andries. We'll learn from you. So money is a practical thing. We need, in this complex society we live in, to be able to exchange. When it comes to interest rates and being able to generate money with money and trade money and so on, that's a totally different discussion altogether. And I will lose my marbles if I have to go into that.
Yes. Hello to Donovan and Terrence. And I saw some other new people up here.
Welcome to all of you in this live. We've got 190 people watching now. Welcome to all of you. It's really awesome that you've joined us.
Hi to Graham. Graham said, hi, everyone. The Reserve Bank just issued new banknotes and are promoting the use of these. So maybe we still have some time before we go cashless.
Yeah, I don't think that it can happen overnight. And many people are resisting it right now, as I've said. There's massive resistance around the world to many of these things. But for instance, this new president that is still to be inaugurated, the president-elect in, is it Argentina? He has said that he's going to do away with the central bank, and then in his a speech when he won, didn't mention any of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I always say, look at what the person says, and then look at what they do not say.
I don't blame you for detracting that, because that gets people assassinated.
it will, yes.
Don't say things that
certainly. So I think he wants to stay alive. But
Yeah.
the most, I don't think you've seen some of the videos. There's compilations of this guy's campaign.
It's the same as
Which is fascinating.
What's the other one in South America?
No. There's nothing the same to this.
Okay, nothing.
Donald Trump must be looking at this guy and thinking,
Colombia. The new Colombian president,
I don't know who that
had all the gang leaders lined up.
Not the leaders, the gangsters. Yeah,
The gangsters,
let them line
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Okay.
So there's a few countries.
No,
where
this
some
guy
people-
ran a chainsaw.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Why do I like the sound of a chainsaw? Anyway.
He
Hi,
used the
Karen.
expletives, any expletive you can think of.
Wow.
He was going to shove things up the government's, all kinds
He
of
needs
holes
to
and
understand
stuff.
he is the government now.
No, he's now the president. Now he needs to deliver.
Mhm.
And they're sitting with 140% inflation. So these people expect him to act immediately once he's inaugurated. So
It's
I think the outgoing president must be so happy
yeah.
that he doesn't have to put up with this nonsense anymore.
I
Not
feel
Dutch.
sorry for I feel
Are
sorry
you looking for the other?
anyone.
It wasn't Dutch, it was Italian, the woman.
Oh. Johan's asking, what do you think of the new Dutch president? I don't know. I'm not aware.
We don't really follow this. The reason why I saw this, someone sent it to me on Telegram.
Thanks, Darwin.
Someone sent me something on Telegram, a video link. And I don't always go through the things that people send me on Telegram, but I checked it later. And I first thought it's a prank, that it can't be possible that someone that's running for president can say the things that he was saying. And it was legit. I actually went and checked it out.
Okay.
And this guy is the president-elect. And he's jou ma se P, die kant toe, worse than that.
That's super
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah, I'll show it to you after this live.
Indeed. Okay, so I just brought up, because Johan, I haven't been following Dutch politics, but it says here, why Wilders won election boosts Dutch far right. But
Did
what happens
Wilders
next?
win?
Yeah, and they're describing him as
Oh.
far right. Interesting. Okay.
He actually won. When did the elections take place?
It was 4 days ago that article was out.
Okay.
I just wanted to go through those comments. Someone up, St. Jones said earlier he hasn't had a bank account for 15 years, but had to get one.
That sounds awesome.
Had to get one to
I
get his
would
pension.
totally do that.
He needed to get it to get his pension.
Yeah, well, it's like with certain things, you can't do anything without a bank account. They'll just say then we won't pay the money. So in the system, you have to beat the system in the system. This is something that you've believed for a long time.
Well said, Phil.
If you can't beat it in the system,
Join
your
them.
plan is not good enough.
Sonia said, I want to read this because I've done this recently. I saw at Menlyn Shopping Centre the parking ticket machines does not take coins. If you pay with coins, it is not accepted. They still take notes or cards. Interesting, getting rid of coins for now. Interesting story. I dragged Des to our favorite garage and we bought ice cream worth like 200 Rand with coins. Nothing but coins, silver coins.
That Lauren had in a
The
jar.
next day, the kids and I went and bought their favorite pretzel shock sticks with nothing but brown coins.
Brown coins.
There was like people behind me. I don't care. We're counting 20 cents. 20
We asked
cents.
him, would you accept cash? And they did. It was an engine garage. So, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Just a fun thing to do. We could
Um,
treat ourselves. Yeah, the past 5 months for us has been on the line. There's things that we've been investing in. So it was a huge chunk of our monthly survival fees going to something very important. And so we've had to become inventive. And the coins it certainly brought some relief.
Okay, Johan says decentralized crypto exchange is not traceable. Bridget says my daughter lost a job due to refusal of certain medical practices. Couldn't pay her bank loan anymore. It's now 3 years and she just received a message saying that they've written the amount off, wondering what's
Okay, Johan, let me just tell you, you are wrong, like completely wrong about that. Okay. You can email me and I will call you and I'll explain to you why I know that. It's not true. Unfortunately, it's not true.
Cindy, very fascinating. Tuck shops are cashless too now.
Tuck shops?
Tuck shops, read.
What?
Moms have to pre-order and pay on an app.
Oh my word. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Just go and find every video you can on Yuval Noah Harari, okay? You should write his name in there.
I will.
And listen to him.
Do listen to him.
He is Klaus Schwab's right-hand man. Advises him. Spokesperson, whatever you want to call it. The guy is very serious and sincere in what he's saying. So he fears many things around AI, that humanity will cease to exist and many other things. Just listen to what he says. Instead of saying he's Satan's spawn and all sorts of things like that, listen to him and take it seriously. Okay. Some of the best advice I can give you.
I find this interesting. So I asked earlier, I don't know if anyone joined late, I asked how many people on this chat right now use predominantly cash and how many use predominantly card to pay for their daily goods.
Yeah.
And it seems like, I wouldn't say 50-50, but quite a few people draw cash and use cash exclusively, but a lot of people also still use card. And we want to actually do this as a poll.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we should do a poll on that.
Yeah.
It's just after the last poll, I was so flipping depressed, disturbed, etc. Anyway, that's a topic for another day, for Thursday night.
Yeah.
So cash. I would just use cash if I could. Absolutely. I think counting money, seeing it disappear is far more hurting than just swiping a card. 100%. It's almost like there's no feelings attached. And before you see it, it's all gone. Okay, not in our case. I mean, we've become quite disciplined. I mean, Lauren has worked out like a budget like you can't believe. It's just rows and numbers and whatnot. So, yeah.
But still, the temptation to go, swoop, whoop.
Just swipe.
Ice cream.
Yeah, when you have to hand out the cash, it's definitely different.
It is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would advise people to use cash. I mean, the coins do smell. So notes are probably better. but use cash.
Not safe to walk around with cash. And of
Yeah.
course, crime is a huge catalyst for all of these technologies.
Yeah. I'm not saying that being able to pay without cash, that is a bad thing at all. What I'm saying is you should have an option to use cash.
You should always have the
You
freedom.
shouldn't remove it. Yes, the freedom should be there to use cash, and people should accept cash as a means of payment. I have no problem with that. And I don't have a problem if people want to build a smart city system and live in that. People should have the freedom to do that, but leave the rest of us to have the freedom to live the way we want.
Leave the ungovernables alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the hackable thing, Graham. Absolutely. I mean, there's things that Yuval Noah Harari has said that is absolutely shocking, and these are things he really believes. He's Jewish. I don't think he's definitely not Orthodox. He's a historian, so he's looked at history, studied history, and based on history, he has decided that the world needs to go a certain way. He believes that human nature will destroy us. Maybe he's right. But to take people's freedom away is a huge problem. And he absolutely believes you cannot give people freedom to make choices.
I also love that you highlight, Graham, that he states that we do not have souls.
Yeah.
And I think those that have written Agenda 21 and similar such
Don't
documents,
have souls, yeah.
I think they all ascribe
Soulless.
I think they all ascribe to that same philosophy that
Yeah.
we don't have souls. And yeah, that's why the fourth industrial revolution is often what I refer to, what we need to create an alternative to, because that entire society with the smart cities and everything, global governance and everything included, is built around, for them, the truth that we don't have a soul. Whereas I believe in organic humanity, the fact that we do have a soul and a conscience and individuality, and we need to preserve that as much as we possibly can.
We did not select the proper chat.
Oh no.
That's my fault. Sorry.
Oh, Kirstenbosch is cashless. Someone said Kruger National Park is cashless. Luckily, our favorite hiking spot is still accepting cash for now.
Johan, let me just tell you that you said P2P payments are possible without being traced. You're wrong. Absolutely wrong. You know, in 2003, I was shown that no transaction that is done using the internet is safe. Not a single one. Not one. I saw that with my own eyes in intelligence. Don't think for 1 second. In fact, using the blockchain, that whole system has made it so much easier to trace things perfectly.
Cool. So,
Johan, I don't have to research anything related to to cryptocurrency. All cryptocurrency and the way that it works is for you to be fully monitored, tracked, and traced every single transaction that you do. If they tell you it can't be traced, they are lying. They are lying to you. Okay.
Okay, so let's quickly dive into this article and then we can have free discussion after this again. So the reason I chose this article to quickly speak from is because it's a really specific.
Okay, listen, we are being freaking spammed here.
It's a very specific, I understand, example of how it impacts us. So the article headlines: one Black Friday shopper made an 818,000 Rand purchase. This is from mybroadband.co.za. And let me share the link quickly. This is from, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Ozao or Ozo? Ozos, they are a payment solution platform. Various companies use them as a way of customers being able to pay. Ozo's Black Friday dashboard has revealed that one shopper spent 818,000 in a single transaction on the day.
So imagine you seeing that your transaction that you did is now being shown on a dashboard that everyone can see.
No one can see it. It's you.
It's you, but still, it's still your data and information is
they can
detailed.
See
exactly.
You.
Maybe you
gonna
should
share the
send them
link
the link to the
quickly,
article.
and
Yeah.
then you can read it
But
together.
welcome to the 211 people watching now. Thanks for joining us. Please like this live stream so that we can show it to more people. We only have 95 likes at this stage. It will really help us to be able to get more people to watch. It's very important that people get to understand this fight for the global elites to get us to a cashless society. Even when people are resisting it, it is still happening. It's being pushed, and it's going to influence all of us. No one's going to be able to get away from the effects of this.
Okay, there is the link.
Okay, there's the link.
Now I'll read the important parts. There's a pretty picture, a little graph. If you like stats and graphs, then you can just scroll down to the picture. Largest single transaction, average transaction. So this is the data they're capturing, the largest transaction within the retail sector through one single payment. Average transaction value across all payments made within the retail sector. Highest daily spend by a single customer. Most transactions by a single consumer. Times during which the highest value payments have been made. Times during which the most transactions have been made. Top 3 customers by amount spent and their number of transactions. Top 3 customers by number of transactions. So this is a lot of data. They have people.
They even said there what time the person spent the money, what day of what year. So your details are out there through this. And you said before, when you get your Pick and Pay card or your Checkers saving card or whatever, the reason why you get these savings is not cashback. They're getting data on what you're
Someone
purchasing.
actually mentioned that further up. Was it Philip?
And based on that, they advertise to you. They actually end up making more money that way. They look at how to target you with adverts and get you psychologically to want to spend more. It's very cleverly done.
So this paragraph that sent chills up my spine, reminded me of that Christmas song about Santa Claus. He knows when you've been good or bad, so be good for goodness sake. He sees when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Black Friday always brings an air of anticipation, and witnessing our merchants soar to great heights is truly the highlight of our day. As we approach the festive season, we would also like to express our gratitude to all the consumers who entrust us with their transactions. One such consumer has made a booking with a travel partner. Whilst we are unable to divulge further details, we wish them a journey filled with delight and lasting memories. Bon voyage.
The 818,000 rand.
So just to be clear, these fintech companies, these payment solution companies, they know who spent that 818 or whatever it is.
So they have all your details, everything.
They are not releasing it to the public, and they are not at this stage releasing it to the government.
Huh?
Real time.
No, not real time, yeah.
2 other customers.
If people understood what intelligence is capable of. Oh yes, I started writing my book on my time and intelligence. I'm halfway through chapter 2 now. It's quite exciting. I will reveal things there that will be mind-blowing. My mind was blown because I saw these things in real time. Programs that existed decades ago, 2 decades ago, that could trace any banking transaction in the world. You could see who's doing it, from which PC, the route that payment takes on the internet, and saying that the blockchain would protect you from that. It's absolute nonsense. Within the blockchain, it's almost like every transaction is super secure in them knowing exactly how it took place. You cannot hide anything now because everything happens in the blockchain, in one platform. And you have all these data warehouses around the world that uses gigawatts and gigawatts of electricity. And all they are doing is verifying all these transactions. And the CIA and Mossad and the KGB and MI6 are just sitting there gleefully laughing at this lot, saying, ha, 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 we can see everything that you're doing. Yeah, we are fools.
And one can argue that as long as you're not doing anything wrong, then you have nothing to worry about. However, When doing something wrong is, going over your net carbon zero allocation,
for the
it
month.
gets a little complicated.
Yeah. Or when you're not allowed to drive out of your 15-minute zone and you exit your 15-minute zone, the camera picks it up via your license plate, and now your car doesn't work at the shop because you've left the area.
Mm.
Yeah, then it becomes fun, people. So don't think that this cannot become a nightmare. It can be turned into one fairly quickly if the government implements these things. I saw a short clip today of Mr. Windy fought against the Southeaster Premier saying that he doesn't want a country where we build walls, so open borders, and he doesn't want a country where we want certain economic mentalities, which means he's actually a socialist. When people realize this about people in the opposition party, then you realize that things are quite grim because we're sitting with a mess as a governing party right now. The opposition is just as bad, if not worse, because it will obviously implement these things even faster. So what do? At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do about this when this is what these people believe? They don't want you to be free. They want you to depend on them. Their financial system, their cashless system.
Yes.
With cash, you have freedom. I mean, it's freedom.
They don't want to be made irrelevant. So they want government to get bigger. They want to employ more people. Every party that's perpetuating the system as it is are communists because they want the government to get bigger so they can employ more cronies.
All of them.
All of them.
Because the fact that they are there and not fighting to change the system proves it.
Yep. Rob Pizarro says, then why can't the bank trace funds that have been removed from your account fraudulently? It's just above their pay grade.
That's way above their pay grade. Let me just tell you something, that the transactions happen over the internet. And for instance, if you look at XRP, which Ripple uses to do transfers for central banks around the world, all of those transactions can be traced by intelligence services. All of them. It doesn't mean that the bank has the ability to do so. They're just a vehicle. Okay.
How would you handle salary being paid into bank accounts?
That's the big problem, Alana. It's a huge problem at this stage.
It's the same. We would have had a tax revolt ages ago if everyone got their salary in cash.
In cash.
Government
Absolutely.
would have been bye-bye.
Imagine people were paid in cash. This government would be toast.
Definitely.
How many of you would pay your tax?
Cash is anti-government, technically.
It is.
Eben says, I bought a car about 4 weeks ago. I received many calls from insurance companies wanting to sell car insurance. How did they get that info?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you're picking up on that. Also, when you're speaking close to your smartphone about something you're interested in, all of a sudden you start seeing adverts for that. It's so far more advanced than most people understand. And it doesn't matter how you feel about Elon Musk or even Yuval Noah Harari. They will tell you that AI that is being used to sell you stuff is far ahead of where people can imagine. They already have a profile on you as a person. They needed Facebook and other social media platforms for that. You've been profiled with regards to how to attract you to spend. They can see whether you are a crisis person. Can they get you to buy something by generating a crisis ad? So they would generate different types of adverts for the same product based on your personality. It's incredible what can be done at this stage.
There was something
in a Mad Max system, Jordan, bartering will be the only way to do things, and it will be complicated as well. However, you won't have an answer. In a Mad Max society, bartering is the only thing that exists. Money ceases to exist.
Like I said, you have to go back to the agricultural revolution, work our way to modernity again. Modernity. Unfortunately, that's what one has to do. That's the societal way to deal with it.
Alana says we've started whispering. How weird is that? Lauren and I often have to leave our phones elsewhere or say we cannot have this discussion if there's phones nearby. And they can listen really well. So they need to be far away. Far away. Paying your staff in cash, that's awesome. Cash.
That's great if you can get that right.
Yeah. 234. Welcome to the 234 people. Our likes have increased a lot. Let's see if we can get our likes at 200. We do need to use the YouTube algorithms to get this information out to other people. You will not see other channels in South Africa discussing real problems like this, and I'm frustrated about it. I really wish other people would do this. We wouldn't naturally do this, would we? We actually talk about it a lot.
What? YouTube.
Do YouTube live streams. If other people were taking care of these things and we thought there were other ways of getting to people, we would do that.
I just love that we've created a community of like-minded people.
Yeah.
That see all this nonsense for what it is.
And, you know, even if you're a conspiracy nut and you see this nonsense for what it is, it's better than being complacent and stuck with your head in the sand. It's still better at the end of the day. And we have so many people, you know, on Thursday evenings when we do the history of religion, and we're working through religion. So this is not this is right and this is wrong. We're just doing the history. We have seen how religion have bound people to believe things that they don't even understand. If you actually ask the person, why do you believe this? They have no idea. It's interesting that people are that way. So it's easy to brainwash someone through the schooling system to believe certain things about money, that money is dirty. If your teacher tells you geld is vuil, don't put your hand in your mouth after you've touched the money. Those are, and I'm not saying that it's bad advice. I'm saying that mindset makes you want to give it away. And that's why people battle to save. Their concept when it comes to money is it should be spent. That you can't save the fruits of your labor and use it later.
Some interesting comments all around. Farrell says, I'm proficient in a few languages. Once when I played YouTube, my wife was asking, why are the ads in German? I said I was speaking German into my phone as a prank.
That's brilliant. Jordan says, when I met you guys a couple of years back, I spent a lot of time learning farming techniques and the fundamentals of soil rejuvenation. We need to speak more about not just self-reliance, but the skills and the discipline that you learn by doing things yourself. Whether it is planting your own food, it's a no-brainer. If you have the ability to do so, if you're not living in a flat and you actually have land, you should grow something. Lauren will actually pick some of our blueberries that our kids planted them. Eh? Just the other day, I mean, we haven't produced anything on a large scale at all because we've moved quite a bit. But even in a flat, you can have things in pot plants. That's what we have right now. We have loads of pot plants.
I went and bought a super expensive book on container gardening specifically for vegetables. And I've been using that as a guide with regards to soil and what ratio of sandiness and compost you need for which thing. It's really helpful. So because we are renting, we are only growing our food in containers so far. So we're waiting for our first beans to grow. They've sprouted. They need to grow. We're waiting for our spinach to get bigger. It's definitely possible. I want you to cover some of the comments up here.
Yeah, there's many good comments. Thanks for commenting. And yeah, so Jordan, we've almost have the likes at 100, at 200. We're at 183 now. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a scary thought. It will be a skill-based society where something as simple yet dire in importance as dental hygiene will go out the window. That frightens me.
I know, because Lauren is so pedantic about dental.
We have, I mean, Des always goes on about buying toilet paper, but we have a drawer full of toothpaste. Like we have toothpaste for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And extra toothbrushes besides our electric toothbrushes. So we are sorted. But I know if someone has a cavity or something like that and they're on dentist, so you can't pay with cash or whatever.
Yeah, but in
it
our
could be a disaster.
communities, we're going to have
Skills and tools and equipment and everything.
And we need to preserve skills. It's all part of Omega. Is actually
as a part of preserving humanity. So we are starting Omega next year, January, everybody. I still have to process the next batch of applications.
There's a lot of applications.
There's so much work to do. So if you messaged...
So thanks. So many people have applied. If you haven't yet,
yes.
Do you dare give the info?
No, I will. I am actually very behind. I need to send everyone that inquired the application. But Des is going to be running with the actual training because I'm going to be busy with the election. He's going to be doing the actual training until the elections are over.
It's going to be
and the way I see Omega training is the stepping stone to an international body to resist this global order that's being established. But we're starting here in South Africa and developing strength here first. And if we can get a couple of seats in Parliament, that will create the exact base that I've been visualizing this whole time.
So remember, there's two phases or two parallel parts to this. The political side, which is super important. A lot of people try and discount that. And I saw something very scary today.
You did?
I saw Jeremy Nell of Germ Warfare attack democracy and say that people have made it their god and various other things. And basically that it needs to be done away with, and democracy allows dumb, stupid people to have a say. And I say that's just the proof of democracy. You need to educate people. That's the whole point. That proves you don't have the democracy, that there's no democracy in the world. In a true democracy, people are educated. They keep on educating themselves so that you can have a better and better and better democracy. The more you are educated, the more your democracy improves. And that is what makes democracy valuable, is you allow people the freedom to do that.
You can't criticize democracy if you haven't got people believing in democracy in charge.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Graham is saying, seeing that OM had to register its political party to contest elections, I hope you have a candidate list, should get more than one seat. We actually have 24 people that have responded to our call for candidates. Obviously, there still has to be an approval process.
Yeah, I think that's excellent.
But if they all say yes and pass the approval process and go through all of that and still want to be candidates, then that means we have 24 candidates, which would equate to...
That's a large percentage of the vote.
Probably a good
24 candidates. What percentage is that, you mean?
Yeah.
No, that's like close on 10%.
Yeah.
Of the vote.
So we want more. I mean, if anyone here wants to be a candidate, you do have to be an OM member to be a candidate, but let me know and we can work things out. We can do the paperwork. Watchwoman says definitely phones are spying on us. I can testify. You talk about something and it appears in your news feed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, for the third time in my life, or is it the fourth? Something I've thought about has appeared on news feed. So I don't know if the feeds are influencing my thoughts and then I see a more specific thing, or if there's really
I remember the first time that happened, you were freaked out.
I was freaked out because it was so out of my character to think of this one thing. But I must have been influenced early in the day by something that caused me to think about it. I don't know. Scary. Okay, so just as an example, long time ago, years ago, the very first, I was actually thinking for the first time in my entire life of buying a sewing machine to sew my kids' clothes. What's next? There was another comment. Oh, yeah. Cherie Ferreira says she works at a school. Their tax shop is also cashless. So just think about what this is psychologically doing to kids. We sat in a hotel in New York. It started to snow. 5 of us were saying we need some umbrellas.
Okay, Rob says he doesn't agree. People don't save because they have nothing left to save generally.
Agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Ooh, what happened? Where did Rob go? Clickalitis.
What did you just do? It should be further up. It is much further up.
There we go. Nothing left to save. I'd actually also agree with that, with a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's now. I'm talking about in general.
Back then.
Yeah. No, even now, people can save. You cannot tell me that a person cannot save.
I can tell you that. No. And we can discuss this later.
That's a person. There's tons of people out there. My grandfather earned a meager salary his entire life. And he took me with him to the bank where he would take an amount of his salary. He did not care that they didn't have money for other things. He would make it up by working extra.
Different times, though.
It's still, that's a principle. He would take me with to the bank and he would pay that money into the bank. And when he retired, he could retire. He bought a house cash in Wellington, where he stayed till the day he died, still doing his veggie gardens. And that's what he would do. He would literally grow veggies and swap it out with people and barter to get the other things that he couldn't with money. That's what he did. So after he had come out of the vineyards at 5 o'clock, he would work till 7 at night in the garden so that he could produce food that was traded with other people.
Okay, cool. I was going to high five you there.
You don't have to high five.
Avogadro says, I regularly have the experience of just having a thought in my mind, totally unrelated to purchases, research, etc. Never said it out loud, but still get ads about what I've just thought. We need to have a little WhatsApp group for all of us who have had that experience, and then we need to discuss it. Because I'm very skeptical even with my own mind. So I'm thinking something must have happened to cause that. Surely it can't be reading your brainwaves yet and deciphering them. Yes, please. What room is it? Yes, please, to what? Can't we ask AI to help us set a good bartering system that we can use? I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't know where you're at.
Okay.
Stage.
Jordan does hydroponics. That's kind of awesome. Are we over time? What? Oh, no. Wow. Where did that go?
But thanks for the more than 200 likes. It's really awesome. There's so much more that we can talk about. The one thing that I can tell you is I sent out a tweet last night that went ballistic today. In fact, it went so big that it influenced Eskom to the effect that they actually mentioned the tweet in their daily report on the media and especially social media. So Des and Lauren made it onto Eskom's social media report.
Thanks.
Well, it wasn't against Eskom. It was just explaining the attack on Eskom and how it was planned to just destroy this powerhouse that we had. It was a big threat to the US, to Europe and many other countries. And they'll do anything for us to shut down our assets.
Okay. If you have no money, then you can't save. And that is a situation for many, many people. The sweetener xylitol used in toothpaste is highly toxic to dogs and cats. Someone was asking about seeds. Are they good? I'm sure we do have some experts in the community, yeah?
But let's get back onto topic.
Yes,
Yeah, you can see. With the numbers plummeting, that we digressing.
We digressed indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, some great
people
comments.
Are the best at telling you when they're not interested in what you are saying.
Okay, cool. So we were on this article.
Yes. So let's finish it.
We did.
So you should maybe put the link out again.
I did again.
But I think the big thing here is most of these shops, they want your data, they want your information, they sell it to other people. Other people can then use that to market towards you. So nothing is secret anymore. And most of these companies actually work together behind the scenes. They're in cahoots. When these food prices go up, you're not going to see them drop if inflation comes down or when the fuel price, the price of the barrels of oil come down. You won't see massive drops in the price of fuel. The government is raking in the bucks and they need it desperately because people are paying less tax at the moment. A lot less tax. Businesses are paying a lot less tax. And we've gone past that curve. What's that curve called again? The tax curve. I can't remember the name now.
That curve, yeah.
Yeah. When you tax people beyond a certain point, your income tax starts to plunge. And once it does, you're on a cliff downhill that can rapidly bring your country to a standstill. Oh, there's so many comments here.
Tons. But anyway, you said we must stick to topic.
Yeah, we should stick to the topic. That's the topic of the night.
So we spoke about this person with the great 818,000 Rand transaction in this platform, Ozo. They know exactly who made that transaction. They know exactly two other customers spent over 400,000 Rand each, with one spending 429,000 through a single transaction and the other spending 5,000. This never happened in the world.
And they know it's across 24 payments. I mean, the detail is there. Then you get this whole layout with curves, the dashboards of how people are spending. So they can look at the trend in an area. They could look at trends in a country. So if you get everyone to do this, all this info becomes available, not just to Ozal, but to everyone they are affiliated with. And make no mistake, an overseas company coming here wanting to provide you with a service like that, these people can sell all that info or give that info to the intelligence community. If they don't want to hand it over, it's very easy for intelligence to just get hold of it. Very easy, in fact. And it's so funny when intelligence says that they can't hack into Apple iPhone. So everyone buys iPhones.
It's a nice advert.
So everyone goes and they buy iPhones, and intelligence just pretends to not see what's going on there. You can't use it to prosecute people, but they know exactly what's happening. iPhone is just as easy to hack as anything else.
Is it?
Very easy.
I wouldn't know. I don't know. So Rob says, how about a joint savings account for like everybody? That's complex, but I do think about all the tax we pay, and if we put that together, that could have been a lot of money to save this country in terms of infrastructure.
Well, at some stage, people would have to put together, if you want things to build something, you either need the raw materials to produce those things, or you need the money to be able to buy it. You also might need trading partners. You might need countries or companies that you should be able to trade with. If you're living on an island in the middle of nowhere, you might be completely dependent off of other countries for everything you have.
Mm-hmm. Like Britain.
If you don't have resources. Wow, that was a low blow.
Biggest transactions of Black Friday's past. That sounds like a Christmas title. Despite the South African public being under strict COVID-19 restrictions, Black Friday 2021 saw the biggest single transaction in the last 3 years. So with everything you're talking about with saving and everything about putting joint accounts together and all the rest, this highlights how much spending capital we have in this country and how it's being monitored currently. Oh, that's why it's so important to distract us with material possessions, because we could be doing so much more without
So
power.
this is not just with this other company. This is with BankServe Africa, this massive transaction.
So where am I?
Online transaction.
On Friday, 26th of November 2021, BankServe Africa recorded a 4 million Rand transaction through a 3D secure online card authentication service. It was the largest of 38,419 transactions the payment service provided. The organization found that Black Friday's total value of transaction was 1 billion. That's amazing.
And then there's Cyber Monday.
Well, so one day, or like a period, I don't know if it's the day or just the period leading up to the day, is that's a lot of money. While Cyber Monday, which falls on the first Monday following Black Friday, hits 516 million.
Jacques says they're going to be eating load shedding soon. I really want to thank you for being here with us. We don't really want to go over an hour. We've discussed basically the problem that we have with this race towards a cashless society. And how many of the, let me just skip this ad thing. And how many of the organizations in the world are fighting for a world where there's no cash. So it's not that they want to take cash away immediately. They are providing other ways and promoting other ways of making payment. That's basically what's happening. And then they will find a reason, like crime, spreading of germs, etc., to get rid of cash. They will always try and get the people to support it.
Of course.
Remember, that's a Bavarian Illuminati way. is make things happen so that the people undo themselves, remove their own freedom, and support the removal of their own freedom. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Create the crisis, show the solution, promote the solution, let the people implement the solution and pay for it.
And pay for it.
That's how you do it. And it's worked really well up until now. Thanks for the 216 likes. Hopefully we can get the likes a bit higher before we end off. Thanks everyone for joining. I don't even know what to tell people with regards to load shedding. Go and read that tweet that I put out earlier today. That's the truth. I'm a real power generation expert. I know what I'm talking about because I actually synchronized generators to the grid. I ran nuclear reactors. I took them critical, subcritical. Like I said, synchronized generators, did all the boring stuff. Well, it wasn't boring to me, but my wife finds it boring. She hates it when I talk about these things. Eskom is in big trouble. It was always meant to be that way, and it's going to affect our economy for a very long time. And the answer is not for us to spend 300 billion on more power lines. It'll just put us deep into debt with the World Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And the World Bank has just recently told our ports, this is a digital system again, that they need to implement this digital system for clearing all the goods into the country. And this is why we have this massive backlog. The companies are not going to give them all this information. So when our country takes out loans, these banks give conditions. Remember, the World Bank is tied to the United Nations. They give conditions to the government that we as citizens did not agree to. It's hugely problematic when a government takes out loans.
Yeah, the citizens don't agree. Definitely not.
No, we don't want to pay more debt. Yeah, surveillance capitalism. I like what you're saying there.
Yeah, that's a great title. So a great name to call this: surveillance capitalism.
But Charles, you must understand, if you understand the real story, it's not Eskom that put itself in trouble. Not at all. I mean, I actually said that I will do a Zoom meeting with those of you that are interested. It's going to be free. We can just sit and talk about power generation. I'll tell you the whole bang shoot. And you can ask me questions as a real power generation expert, and people like Chris Yellen and all the rest. You can invite them because they can learn something from me. I'm one of few people that actually know what's happening, that's speaking publicly. And the people in Eskom know that I do. And I don't think they mind, to be honest. So I'll tell you the truth. So instead of attacking Eskom, you need to attack the system that brought Eskom to its knees, deliberately. Okay, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Next week, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Anything pop in your mind?
Something random. Aren't people tired of hearing about this? With industrial revolution dystopian?
Are you people tired of listening to us? Are there any topics that you want us to speak on? That the USA with the CIA go out of their way to create conflict and ruin?
Obviously.
I can prove that, Rob. From my time in intelligence, that's happening right now. The CIA is part of the destructions of Eskom, by the way, and the USA. It's very much in their interest to do so. So, Baal and Moloch worship, is that what you want us to do in Tuesday? No, man, that's depressing. We can do something on the Bohemian Grove at one stage if you want. We've got the statue of the owl there where the people do their burning of care in our thumbnail. I put it there so that we can cover the mysterious, the wheelings and dealings of politicians, the people that make the decisions for us on a global level. Flame-proofing a home. Andries, that's so funny. Oh. Oh, Adrian, you're gonna have to go and watch. We're busy finishing up. But thanks for the 234 likes. It's the second 234. That's the time I woke up.
Indeed, it is.
In my book, you will see I woke up at 2:34 for a period of time, each time when something important was happening. And I'm writing my book on my time and intelligence. I'm doing a workshop, not a workshop, a presentation on that. Not this coming Saturday, the next Saturday. What's it, the 9th? I can't remember exactly.
It's the 9th.
It's going to be a humdinger. Let me just tell you now, for those of you that can, no, Saturday
it's the 9th.
The 9th, yeah. For those of you that can, I charge a stipend. It's 100 Rand to attend the presentation. It's going to be an absolute revelation to the people that do attend, because I can do it in a more personal way. I will break down the intelligence structures before 1994, post 1994, and post Jacob Zuma era, because he changed it quite a bit. I will be speaking about how intelligence works, the capabilities that I'm aware of that intelligence has, and the various different intelligence structures, how they have argy-bargies with each other. It's going to be fascinating. I will tell you about my time with Anneke Larsen, the same person that interviewed Andre de Ruyter before he resigned. And the fun memories I have of having to deal with the media, bringing the truth to the public, getting ministers fired, telling Eskom CEOs to resign, many things I will lay bare. So,
Are you talking about your book or the presentation?
No, the presentation. Okay. Yeah.
So please go into the Telegram group channel for that information.
If you go into Telegram, I think I've put it on Facebook as well.
Okay.
I see our Facebook page is now grown to 22,000 followers. It's quite something.
When's the book coming out, Des? Charles, he's only on chapter 2.
Yeah, only on chapter 2. So this is my book. My dad's book is going to take some time. It's very difficult to translate this thing. It's a nightmare, to be honest. We didn't know how tough it was going to be.
No, I think your story's going to be way more interesting.
It's not just more interesting, it's more relevant. So the information that I will be giving you is far more relevant. By a long shot. Okay. Yeah, I will hurry along. I'm writing every single day at the moment. It's so much easier because I'm writing now. I'm writing it in the first person as if it's taking place right now. So it's quite interesting. And as I'm going along, I'm delving into different things. Actually, why don't I just read a page? No, I won't.
Goodness gracious. Anyway. Any last thoughts on a cashless society? There's so many things I actually wanted to go into, but then we didn't because I diverged too many times.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a huge push to drive this cashless society here in South Africa. Can it practically work? I think of domestic workers. I think of under minimum wage laborers. I think of the informal sector. And I can't see it working out in this country, but I can see people being left out when it comes to spending money in certain places. It could be entire shopping centers you cannot go to. You might not be able to pay your kids' school fees if it's not online or whatever. So that's where we're headed. I think we're going to see the tale of two cities, cashless and informal. And I suppose this is where, like a lot of us early on said, we use cards to pay for lots of things, me included, because I'm a millennial. And we're going to have to make a decision somewhere down the line that is unlike what we've been doing up until this point. It is almost like that already, but I can imagine it getting worse, especially in places where you have to go into a place to pay for parking and then shopping in that kind of shopping center. So it's going to be interesting to see how consumerism takes root.
Well, UBI will definitely become a part of these plans, especially when you have a social credit score. And I don't think people understand yet how very quickly social credit scores can fit into that. But the one thing that I want you to look out for is how many people on social media that you might be worshipping actually are supporting and helping implement this new world order. And I told you before that this would happen, that these very people will be misled, deceived, etc., by other people, and they'll fall for it for various reasons, sometimes for money, sometimes for fame, many other things. I don't need any of those things. I've achieved so much in my life. I don't need anyone's praise or anything like that. I don't seek public office. I can give you information, and that's one thing that I have a lot of, and hopefully you can still benefit from that. I'll be revealing a lot more to the public. Up until now, it's been very superficial. And in my double O days meetings with certain people, I went into a bit more detail here and there. But nothing like what I will put out in the book. I will go into nitty-gritty detail. I'm afraid it's going to be frick long. And Lawrence says I shouldn't be afraid of that.
I mean, if people can read Lord of the Rings, they can read your frick long book, okay?
Yeah.
I think
15.5 population digitization. We spoke about that, 3 weeks ago?
We did a while back.
Yeah.
Seems like forever
So we covered all of that. Please go and watch our last Tuesday night live streams. They are all there for you to go and watch. All our live streams now are good. We have our internet right next to us, so we don't have any interference problems anymore.
Dion's asking how much gold do you have? If you're asking us, we have like almost none except our wedding rings. We don't have gold.
No.
Can't eat gold.
We know where gold is stashed, though.
We don't care about gold.
No. You can't eat it. Let me tell you something. A lot of people have said, why don't you invest in gold and silver? And I'm telling you now that the value of anything like gold, silver, diamonds, or whatever can be turned to nothing overnight. Okay. The Rothschilds have controlled the price of gold for ages to make an absolute fortune. That hasn't stopped. China and Russia has stocked up on gold like you cannot believe. When the time is right, they will just flood the world market and the price of gold will go to nothing. If you're in a crisis society, there is no value in gold. The whole concept of trading will cease to exist. Trading will stop. This is what people don't get. They think that trading will continue. You'll be able to keep on investing in cryptocurrencies.
Sorry, people, for the bad news, but we're rebuilding this country with blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
hopefully not blood, sweat, and tears.
It's going to be hard work. So anyone that thinks that there's the silver lining in anything money related, you're mistaken. You don't understand the global plans. And that's the only value my dad had, is he gave us pointers with regards to the committee that he attended and what these people said. And in his book, he wrote a couple of things that can give us pointers as well. But that's it. I see him as an absolute madman. I mean, the fact that he invented many things means nothing to the world now. He's dead. He's not alive. I can do something to help the world right now, and that is what I'm willing to do. So, yeah, that's all we can do. And we need everyone's help. We're going to, in this country and other countries, we're going to need groups to implement OM's plan. And
Indeed.
Omega.
But first, OM is having a birthday party. Before we do that serious stuff.
Let's get to 250 likes, people. Will really be awesome. Birthday party. When's the birthday party?
10th, Sunday, the 10th of December in Durbanville. You can
if you're in Cape Town.
No, WhatsApp OM. Go to OM's website, find a number, and WhatsApp.
Where's the other birthday
parties? Not Durban. Durban tentatively in Jeffreys Bay. So if Port Elizabeth people can also go to Jeffreys Bay, that'll be great. And then in Mulder's Drift and Mamelodi. Those 4 places.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
So if anyone else, I suppose, wants to organize a birthday party in their area.
Yeah, you can. But hurry, because time to advertise is running out.
Yeah, of course. Can you make a hydrogen-aspired engine? It runs on water. That would be a game changer. My dad invented an engine that runs on water. That was his claim to fame. He actually won awards for it at Palexpo.
All birthday parties on the 10th of December. I'm not a big fan of your dad's design, by the way. Anyway,
That's fine.
Joshua has come up with a couple of good
Other
ideas,
designs.
in my opinion.
The trick is in the reactor that actually splits the hydrogen and oxygen. The other thing is the fact that it's very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Toyota is trying to do the same thing with the same process, okay, which is awesome news. Except they're using pistons. Now that is dumb. It needs to be rotary. And the way he did the rotary design was just so simple.
Charles has been new because he says, wow, seriously, why is it not used worldwide today?
Because my dad was killed because of it. Threatened many times.
Did your dad patent it? He's asking.
Yeah. But that means nothing. I mean, I saw that engine run. Yeah, here's a copy of the.
Clearly, Des hasn't burnt the documents yet.
No, I kept just. These are the certificates, man. Come on, or copies of it. Monsieur Edmund William Robert Bernardo. And it's for the Palexpo 1999 in Geneva, Switzerland. For the using the energy evac unigrande efficient what? Chiati thermal. For his engine that runs on water. Rotary. It was my idea to make it run on water. He just wanted a very efficient motor to start with. But it ran, it worked. Obviously, it's a prototype. It was very heavy. He machined everything himself. Ah, here it is. I knew it was here somewhere.
Cool.
A very basic concept. And the thing is, everything that's been designed since is so freaking dumb. You know, where they make these rotors run on each other with no gaps. It's so stupid. Because when the thing heats up, I mean, you'll bind. This was such a simple design, really.
I sense a lot of sentiment and nostalgia still.
What do you mean? The motor. I helped work on this. Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. It's
just
just
funny.
It's sweet. Jonathan in Johannesburg, South Africa. What a formal YouTube name. Hi, Des and Lauren. Thank you for your sanity on these complicated issues. I listened to all your videos. Much appreciated. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks so much for joining us. Please tell other people about us. What we do is not popular, obviously. We're not conspiracy theorists. We hate conspiracy theories. You like postulating things. What? Hypothesizing, yes. Lauren loves to hypothesize.
Correct.
About things. Yeah, I just look at what we see in front of us.
People are jumping ahead. Wait, stop. People are jumping ahead of the game, talking about building materials and prototypes and blah, blah, blah. We need to get the numbers first. Then we need to get the organizational structure. Then we need to mobilize. Then we need to govern. Then we rebuild.
Yeah,
stay
Lauren's
in
right.
the right lane. Know where you're at any given time.
Yeah, people
because if you put your energy into the wrong phase, that's expended and wasted energy. I'm very frustrated how people are always wanting to jump into mobilization or even beyond when we're not
and
even
then it ends up as a disaster.
So people will rather talk about mobilizing instead of sharing a message with a neighbor, trying to get a signature or a flyer. There are a lot of people doing a lot of great work.
OM at the moment needs 14,000 signatures, which is insane. I hope the Concord, in their sanity, freaking annihilates that twat and makes it 2,000 or something more tangible. Like in the US, you need 2,000 signatures to run. OM's already had to register as a political party, get 500 signatures to do that. Been through that process. Why don't all the other parties have to get 14,000 signatures too? The DA, the ANC, and all the others, and see what it takes to do that. It's insane. They have actually no intention of having other people compete in these elections at all.
No, in fact, I don't think any of the parties, except for maybe one or two, could get 14,000 signatures.
I think Thabo Mbeki is sorry for many things he did. I mean, I nailed him in the tweet because he started to keep the lights on campaign. I think he has regret now. He's apologized for it. But that's a bit late.
Ew. Rob, they do not have similar thinking at all. The name, I shall not even mention.
No, they don't have similar thinking at all. You cannot compare. No. There's no
Ew.
comparison.
Ugh, that's so gross. I need a bath.
You've
Charles
just
says, yeah, I'm definitely a planner. I would rather say strategizer, and Des sounds like the doer, just like my wife. Why is it that couples are always opposites like that? It's so interesting.
So what we are doing is far superior to a group that wants to run into the bush and hide. Okay, we want to create strength where we're at. We're not racist. Anyone is welcome that believes in the values and principles of which are very simple values.
Sure, but what a starting point is, I would rather say that the basis upon which we are built is to completely overturn the fourth industrial revolution and global order.
Absolutely.
So our starting
I'm not a politician. You are.
It's totally different.
Go for it. I'll stand back. I can see you getting fired up. I like this.
Charles says, my wife jumps where angels fear to tread. She needs to join OM then. She sounds awesome.
I can't wait to show you this new soon-to-be president of this, Argentina.
You showed me one clip. And
No. Yeah. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind.
Okay, it's come people, 200 viewers, come help us get signatures. So it's someone asked earlier how many signatures have we got. So I've only counted what's been submitted to me. I know other people are in possession of signatures, but they haven't submitted. So what I've counted is 147 plus another 140 that I know of. So almost 300 plus more. But
and that's a lot of signatures, by the way.
We're nowhere near 1,000.
14,000 is insane.
We're nowhere near 1,000.
So we need to do a lot of work. I mean, we raised the funds. The public raised the funds for OM to contest, like in 3 months. Less than 3 months.
Okay, Rob, what you need to understand is that when the country is collapsed and you're in a crisis situation, there's certain people you don't want to be around because they will pose a danger and a risk to the entire community.
In fact, they have plans to block roads that people might want to use to exit with firearms and vehicles. Sorry. They're going to see their gat so badly. It's going to look like the AWB in Bophuthatswana. Okay. So, yeah. Bunch of amateurs.
Someone asked, signatures for what? So this is completely new. It's thanks to the subversive Concord ruling that's recently happened. Just to contest elections.
Adrian asked a good question.
Just to contest elections, we have to not only pay 250,000 Rand, which we get back if we get a seat, by the way. But we also have to now deliver 14,000 signatures to the IEC. Those signatures are basically support from the general public to say that they agree with us.
And this is what Parliament did to us. I mean, you hand the thing that wants to remove the people in Parliament to Parliament to pass. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. So it's, as someone so aptly put it, it's wolves creating laws for the sheep.
Well, there was actually the IEC.
No. It was Parliament that.
Yes, it's wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was someone in the IEC that actually said that.
I did not divulge that. I divulged that to you. But anyway. Let's continue. I have 120 confirmed. Thank you, Mari. Explain what contesting will do. Well, we're trying to overturn the political system within the political system. If you do it outside of the political system, it could be seen as uprising, revolution, coup, whatever.
So you can vote to change the system completely for the first time ever. So a lot of people that didn't want to vote before can now vote because you can vote to change the system. So OM doesn't want to govern the country. OM wants to change the system only. And then once that new system is in place, then we can elect independent people. That's the bottom line.
So where do we get these documents to sign? Just WhatsApp OM, and then we'll get you the documents.
So what is it now? It's om.org.za, the website. But now what's it, info at or what?
Info, but if you go to the website, you can just WhatsApp us.
Yeah.
It's easiest. Yeah. If you don't have WhatsApp, then you can email info@om.org.za. The birthday party get-together should be used to get... Oh, absolutely. Any get-together we have will be used for signatures. But we need to get it quickly.
Did you get that?
Where? Which
50 signatures, Nella.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Nella. Oh, yeah, you are. Hi, Nella. Thank you, Nella. I did get it. Thank you so much. Yes, I got them. So I've counted yours in that.
Okay, just explain to Jacques that you cannot cheat our elections at all.
But when do we don't know when we need the signatures. We're trying to get them as soon as possible. End of Feb, I initially said, but now I want to try and move that up to the end of January.
Jacques, what you should do is volunteer with the IEC, go to a voting station and look at our process. As long as we are using paper ballots, you cannot cheat our system. So it doesn't matter what people say that moan and bitch that they didn't get sufficient votes and all the rest. The only way to cheat the system is if there's only one party's representatives and a complete amount of corrupt officials at a voting station. Otherwise, it's impossible. So at every polling station, you can have your party's representatives. They are there from beginning to end. You cannot cheat the system.
So just to be clear, the parties know the results before the media and
Long
public
before.
does. So technically, I mean, I really worked this out for a good effort. You need around 100,000 volunteers across the country to have that level of intel, which is
a lot of people.
Durable if you're the ruling party, but
Yeah.
as long as there are observers of the counting process specifically,
You cannot cheat.
It's impossible. So
Yeah.
if I'd like to challenge you to sign up to volunteer
Yeah,
to be an
and
observer
learn.
and voting station.
It's actually
at a voting
humbling.
station.
Who of you in this live chat have actually volunteered at a by-election or at the elections and seen the rock-solid voting system that we have in South Africa? No, we don't have electronic voting. That will change everything.
Register to vote. Thanks, Andres, for the reminder.
Yeah,
Yes, please,
absolutely.
people. Even if you think you're not going to vote, you might change your mind, and it will just be helpful. There will be a cutoff point where you won't be able to register.
Yeah, we
anymore.
need tons of volunteers on election day, hey?
100,000,
right.
like I said, to run a proper
At
operation
least, yeah.
nationwide in every single ward, in every single voting station, you need a good 100,000 people. You don't have to be a member of a political party. You just need to be a public.
Yeah, Adrian, absolutely. Our members can be a representative at the polling station. You don't even need to be an own member. You can just volunteer.
Are you talking about a party agent representative?
Yeah, party agent.
You
Yeah.
don't have, own members can, but you don't have to be.
You don't have to be an own member to volunteer to be a observer for OWN.
Yes, and no electronic voting.
Yeah,
at
well,
this stage.
Charles, America has an electronic voting system. You can rig it easily.
Peoples, if the country ever asks for electronic voting,
Fight.
I hope that you will heed any calls coming my way.
Yes.
We
You
cannot let
mean
that
coming
happen.
from you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coming from-
Lauren will do something akin to leave our kids alone
Times 100.
when that happens.
We can't let that happen.
Lauren will go boss.
I suspect that's on the cards for 2029.
Yeah, they will try it for 2029.
They might test
for
it
sure.
for the local elections, so they might do a hybrid system for the next local elections. But you'll ballot and you'll do the electronic. Then for 2029, it might be full electronic. That's my hypothesis, based on things that have been said in IEC meetings. So when the time comes, the citizens just need to be with it, to be awake and be willing to do what it takes. Any other questions?
Yeah, look, it's an hour and a half.
It's an hour. I'll be doing own things on YouTube again in the new year from January. So we'll have dedicated Q&A
Leave our
sessions.
votes alone. I like
Hashtag leave
That's
our
beautiful,
votes
Darwin.
alone. Thank
Thanks.
you.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the 260 likes. We now have more likes than people watching.
Yeah, Charles, we cannot trust.
Nope.
No.
Nope. But thank you everyone for the comments.
Thanks, yeah. And please join us again next week, every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock. Yeah, join us.
Charlie's
Really
saying,
awesome.
okay, so do you want to go to Parliament to represent us? We have tentatively around 20-something candidates.
Yeah.
Me
And they will
being-
be on a list.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me
Are
as well.
you
I
in
don't
there?
know. I'm tentatively putting my toe in there, thinking about it.
So Lauren's thinking about it. Who of you think that Lauren should be a representative in Parliament? Try and convince her. What? Skip it.
Skip ads. Wow.
Yeah, every 30 minutes. That's the longest you can make it.
We have a very good election voting system. It is, definitely.
Yeah, awesome.
If you change the electoral system and just improve the voting system to match that, we'll have a solid democracy. But again, I just need to highlight the system in the future that
Bye,
we're proposing is only going to work if everyone's willing to be a candidate when there's no one worthy in sight. And that's so important to drive home. Is the quality of democracy depends on your willingness to be a candidate.
The election date, that's a good question, Don. I know that the ANC is talking about May. I've heard many people speaking about May now already. Thabo Mbeki has asked for it to be August.
Thank you, Thabo Mbeki.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say that earlier. I said it looks like he's
Wow.
realized that he's made many mistakes. He's asked for it to be August to give more times for parties to actually get their signatures and things like that. The ANC will fight for the earliest date to try and eliminate as much competition as possible.
Well,
Okay, Lauren, it looks like people want you to go.
yeah, this is like a. Never mind. There's my email address. So I hope, I don't know who's going to listen to him. Will our president currently listen to an ex-president? Because the president of South Africa proclaims, puts a proclamation out on when the next election date is going to be. And that's official. Then it goes in the government gazette and then it's a done deal. I hope he listens to his fellow comrade.
I don't think you will. The ANC will push to do it sooner because there are polls showing that they are just below 50%. The DA's poll you can't trust, of course. It says they're at 39. It's just not true. With the DA at 32%, wishful thinking. Absolute wishful thinking. There's many parties that will get a chunk of the vote, like the Patriotic Alliance and Action SA, that have well-established election campaigns.
I didn't realize how old PA was.
They are 10 years old already. So this is the first time that I will be contesting in national elections.
Yeah, super exciting.
And
I think I must perhaps end the year with an OM live stream to answer all these questions. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So this is a record Tuesday night.
Maybe you should speak to Thabo Mbeki.
Yes, I'll just dial him on my phone because
that's what I do. I will Google who's his rep, contact them, speak to them.
Okay, cool.
Speak to him, yeah.
Thanks for your participation. I did put OM's email in there if you want to help with signature collection. It is going a lot slower.
You don't have to be an OM member to support OM, vote for OM, or help OM to get signatures. It's about system change at the end of the day. A lot of people don't feel they want to be a member of a political party. You don't have to be in this democracy. The only democracy we have is the fact that we can vote. There's nothing else democratic about what we do. And our voting system is very democratic. It's fair, it's proper.
There are certain things you can do. It's still limited. We have a limited democracy.
Yeah.
But there are certain things, like you could go to your sub-council and council meetings, your municipal council meetings, and you could hound your councillors. On a local level, I think it's a bit easier, and that's why we want to change the governance structure. But that's for another
we're in a completely different discussion now for the past, I think, half an hour already.
Yes, indeed.
If you want to talk about we can do that next week.
I don't know. I'll see what
about details people can
I'll see what comes up in the week, and then this Thursday we are discussing various ancient creation stories.
So we're looking at all the different creation stories because we're covering religions of the world. So all the creation stories, and these creation stories are going to be old, okay, very old, to show you that they've been there since forever, with all the bits and pieces. And that it was just carried down from there. So it's going to be interesting.
Cool.
Okay, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Just know that you will be able to countrywide vote for we just need to get that 14,000 signatures. Hopefully it will be made less, but I think it'll be an awesome exercise to get 14,000 signatures.
I hope all us
speak to all those people. That'll, in my mind, make sure that gets a seat.
And I hope all the subscribers on this channel volunteer to be voting station observers.
Yeah, observers.
You can do that. You can volunteer that for any political party, but we're happy to take non-member volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's so beautiful to be part of a democratic process.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.